What's up, y'all? Welcome back to Fish at the Moment. Today I'm super excited to finally reveal a new rig I designed for core tackle, the Weedless Wacky Shot rig. I've been testing this for about 6 months now. I've got hundreds of fish on it. It's completely changed the way that I fish offshore structure. So let's get into it. Okay, there's some good ones right here on the standing timber. You can see them out there at about 50 feet. We're gonna drop right on their heads and see if they eat it. They're just kind of suspended out here. And these fish see a ton of Damiki rigs and jerk baits and all kinds of stuff, but they don't see a wacky rig thrown at them very much. And this little wacky shot is so good at targeting these fish that are suspended like this, because you can drop it on them, and then you can drop it all the way down to the bottom. And when that bait falls on the bottom, a lot of these fish will follow it all the way down to the bottom and then eat it. There's a fish just about to eat it right now. About 40 feet out, he's right on it. Come on. Get it. Oh, he's following it. Get it. Got him. Oh, that was awesome. You saw him. That's the trick with the wacky rig, guys. Followed it all the way down to the bottom on him and got that fish in the boat. Nice one right there on the little wacky shot. There we go. Nice little fish. Not a big one, but right on that Weedless Wacky shot right there. Nice little fish. You can't get those same fish to react to a Damiki rig because when that bait is above their head and you drop it to the bottom, they just don't seem to eat it. But with a wacky rig, they'll follow it down there and they'll choke it almost every time. Let's get this guy back down there. Ooh, that's a good one right there. Come on, fish. 40 feet out, dropping right on one. Oh, come on, eat it. Eat it, eat it, eat it, eat it. Got him. Oh yeah, just shook that wacky shot right in front of his face, guys, and a good one just got it. That's the thing about that wacky rig is you can almost work it like suspended in front of those fish's face, and that wacky shot is perfect for that with the weight it kind of counterbalances it. You can catch some freaking tanks doing it, guys. That's not a giant, but that is a good one on that Weedless Wacky shot. You work it around those trees like I showed you, just shake it in front of those fish. It's a great alternative to the Damiki rig, and it freaking sticks them with that trocar hook. That's what I'm talking about. Beautiful fish right there. Let's get him back down in the lake. Off he goes. That's what I'm talking about, guys. That Weedless Wacky shot is so versatile, and it's honestly replacing my Damiki rigs because I can fish it in more scenarios. You can kind of shake it in front of those fish just like a Damiki rig, but not that many guys are doing this. And so you can have this technique all to yourself, fish tighter to cover, and as you saw at the beginning, you can also drop that bait to the bottom, and it gives you a new way to get those fish to bite. If they don't eat it while you're shaking it in front of their face, you can drop it all the way down there to the bottom and they'll pick it off the bottom. So super versatile rig. It is the #1 rig I'm throwing right now. I basically have been throwing this almost exclusively for the past like 2 months and just absolutely smashing them shallow and deep. So what's different about the new Weedless Wacky shot hook other than this weed guard on it? Well, I have the original core tackle wacky shot here, and this is basically a hook that we designed for both worms but also dice style baits that have like the jig skirt hanging off of them. And it works great still with those dice or ball style baits, but it doesn't work that well through cover because you basically just have a big exposed hook on top of your worm. So we redesigned this hook with a brand new hook. This is a Trocar TK137, and we moved the wire keeper from below that hook to on the actual hook shank. This actually changes the way that this weight keels the bait and helps it pull through cover better, even without the need for this weed guard. But with the single cable guard weed guard on it, it comes through cover like no other wacky rig hook I've ever used. Let me show you how it works through one of these big standing trees. And this is one of the scenarios where the Weedless Wacky shot really shines. You can see a really thick piece of timber in front of me. This could be a laydown or a brush pile or even thick grass. And I can skip that bait up into that big stick up and I can fish it back no problem, watching that bait either on forward facing sonar here. There's a fish actually on it right now. There's like 3 of them on it. And you can pull it through that timber and shake it in front of those fish, almost yo-yoing it over the limbs. And the bait isn't gonna get hung up. With that cable guard we have on there, the bait can just pull over those limbs and get into those places where you wouldn't be able to work a jerkbait or an Alabama rig or a Damiki rig. And I'm literally just yo-yoing it right now over one of those limbs, pulling it over the branches. It's not gonna get hung up, guys. We designed it specifically for these scenarios and it is absolutely killer.
And really quick, I wanted to show you this cool shot we got of a bass actually eating the Weedless Wacky shot as we were trying to film it underwater. My trolling motor was actually hitting this laydown, and the boat was like 3 feet away from the laydown itself, and the fish still ate it. So it just goes to show how well they'll eat this bait. Now, I don't want you to think that the Weedless Wacky shot is only good targeting suspended fish with forward-facing sonar. I actually caught a lot of fish in shallow grass beds this summer, fishing the Weedless Wacky shot in the thickest grass I could find in 2 to 5 feet of water. Here's a clip of me finding some shallow grass on my side scan and then catching them without forward-facing sonar on the Weedless Wacky shot in grass.
That grass, as you can see, it comes up to a high spot with some big, thicker clumps, and then it kind of starts to spread out, it looks like, and get a little bit less thick as we kind of get around this corner. We can actually see a fish setting up. I'll try to point it out actually on that side scan, which is crazy. We can actually catch a couple fish out. I actually see 2 of them on that side scan. And that grass kind of peters out. But then, if I remember correctly, when I graphed this a couple days ago, it should start to get a little bit thicker again. Yeah, right in through here. This is what I would consider maybe an extra little clump, or kind of almost another little hard edge here. That's really nice. I would almost consider that a clump though, because it's separated from that main point and it's just one isolated clump of grass right there. That is awesome. We can also see there's a little bit of a hole in the grass there. So if we pause this image, we can see that there's kind of a hole or an edge to that grass right here and a really nice clump. So we're going to mark this, again, dropping a lot of waypoints to basically contour this grass ourselves, for lack of a better term. We have another clump that comes in right here, and then we almost have a hole between waypoint 20 and 21, so we're gonna mark in there. Then we have more grass, and we're just going to drop a lot of waypoints. You can see why I wanted to delete my waypoints here and then remake them, because I didn't want to have like 100 waypoints on my graph, especially if I was gonna do it a second time. But we're gonna go through here, mark all that, and we're gonna basically form that really nice grass edge all through here. Here we go. Got another one, slowed down. Put a little wacky worm in my hand. Oh, that's a big one. Not a big one, but good one. Compared to the last few, it's a good one. Again, when you find fish in these grassy spots, a lot of times there's more than one in the area. That's a real good one right there. Switch over to a little prototype, core tackle, Weedless Wacky shot. Oh, there we go. Really nice fish right there, guys. Beautiful, choked. That little prototype core tackle Weedless Wacky shot. You guys have been asking for it, and we have made one, and it freaking sticks them really well. Here we go, guys. Beautiful fish right there. Solid 3-pounder. Let's get this beautiful fish back down the lake.
Now, before we get back to catching some fish in standing timber, I wanted to show you how I locate these fish in the first place. I always find my bass offshore first using down scan, side scan, and 2D sonar. In this particular instance, I was using a combination of 2D sonar and down scan to identify fish that were suspended in and around these trees. You can use both the 2D sonar and down scan view to help separate fish out of those trees. The down scan view gives a lot of great target separation and shows those fish within the limbs, while the 2D sonar will show you the size of the fish in open water and also allow you to see those arches around the trees. I basically graphed around this area for 15 to 20 minutes until I saw a good concentration of fish in those trees on 2D sonar and down scan, then dropped the forward-facing sonar and started fishing.
Oh, come on. Eat it, eat it, eat it. Come on, fish. No way. Eat it off the bottom, come on. Eat it off the bottom. It's a freaking big one. Got him. There we go. Good one out here. Just roaming. Oh, dang it. Big one right there, guys. Came off, but you saw that fish come up and absolutely crush that thing. My reel like undid while I was doing that. I don't know what was going on, but when I set the hook on that fish, guys, he was glued to the bottom, which is super cool. He actually was swimming out here kind of in the open, and I got him to follow when I was just working that bait halfway in the water column, but he wouldn't commit. And that's the thing, when you're fishing a Demiki rig, you basically have to get him to commit while they're following it. But that fish, I dropped it all the way down to the bottom, dead sticked it down there, and he absolutely choked it. Solid 4-pounder. Didn't get him in the boat, but that was just a little equipment malfunction with my $30 fishing reels. But you know, when you fish on a budget, sometimes that happens. But man, that was a beautiful fish. Oh, this time he likes it. Come on, come on, come on. Come on, get it, get it, get it. Get it, eat it, eat it, eat it. Got him. Got him. Nice one. Not a big one, but nice little fish. He was just up there on the surface, basically. Got that little guy. He looked bigger on active target, but just a nice little fish. I threw at him the first time. He didn't get interested. I must have not got it close enough to him. Dang, that hook freaking stuck him. I wish it would have stuck the last one like that. Oh, there we go. Look at that thing. He absolutely choked it. Wish that last fish ate it that well. Sometimes when they bite there on the bottom, guys, they just like kind of get it in their mouth, push against the bottom, and I find that I do lose a few fish when that happens. But when they're in open water like that, usually they absolutely choke it. That thing, not very big, but shows the power of that Weedless Wacky shot. You see me fish it through the thickest cover through here. That bait is barely hanging on, but it is still holding on. These Senkos rip up a little bit, but it's, I mean, that bait would have normally been going with the standard Wacky rig. We've been able to throw it up in standing timber, work it straight through there. We've been able to target isolated fish on cover, get fish to bite off the bottom, and fish it like a Demiki rig for these suspended fish. It's a super versatile rig, and honestly guys, if you're gonna be fishing this winter, I would highly recommend trying this over a standard Demiki rig, as long as those fish are, let's say, shallower than 25 feet of water. You can use the 1/28 ounce size in that Weedless Wacky shot when those fish are in like 10 foot of water or less. And then if they're deeper than that, let's say in that 10 to 20 foot range, go to the 1/8 ounce size. I have both rigged up most of the time, and you can just put a little Senko on there and absolutely crush them. Ooh, come on fish, eat it. Oh, come on, come on. Got him. Oh, off that tree. Freaking good one. Saw him just shark off that tree. Nice fish on the Weedless Wacky shot, guys. Oh, there we go. You can see I kind of horsed that fish a little bit because I got that hook on 12-pound fluorocarbon line for my leader and then 20-pound braided line because I do like to fish this thing in thick cover. So I have a little bit stouter equipment. I actually find that I get a lot better hook set and actually get that weed guard out of the way better when I'm throwing a 7'4" medium heavy power rod. That's a beautiful fish right there. Right off that little stick up, you can see literally that stick up was right there. And if you guys don't have forward facing sonar, you can also just go through these wooded areas and just throw this Wacky shot at all the visible cover and still catch these fish. It comes through the cover great. That's a beautiful fish right there. So as you can see guys, that Core Tackle Weedless Wacky shot hook really is a super versatile hook, both offshore with forward facing sonar, but you can also fish it around shallow boat docks, grass laydowns, and just fish it like you would a normal Wacky rig up shallow. If you do want to imitate shad more, you can also put some shad pattern Senkos on. I just caught a couple fish actually here off camera on this Senko right here that again has that more of like a pearl shad pattern to it. But I've been catching a ton of fish on these watermelon candy Senkos as well, and I don't find that it makes that big of a difference, though I think with these maybe darker skies and the cloud cover, just a brighter bait may generate more bites. So even though I am targeting fish that might be feeding on shad, bluegill, whatever, I'm always pretty much going with that watermelon candy color in the brighter skies with sun, and then when it gets darker like this, I'll go to some type of shad pattern or pearl colored worm. And you can just basically try both different sizes of that Wacky shot depending on how deep the fish are, work it around out here, and you're gonna get a ton of bites. If you only fish for like an hour and a half, caught 10 fish, they are chewing it. I'm not seeing a lot of other guys getting bites either, so this is definitely something these fish haven't seen before, and they are basically eating it every fish I throw at. Well guys, again, I'm super excited that you can finally get the new Core Tackle Weedless Wacky shot hook. Check it out at coretackle.com. It's gonna be a great bait all winter long, through the spring and into the summer. Thanks for checking out this video. We'll see you on the next one.